Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aging and Spirituality podcast, where we're going to be talking about how to have a more fulfilled life after the age of 60. And I am Kathy Lee Taylor, and your co host is.
Chris Jensen.
We want
So
to
happy
welcome.
you're with us.
We're happy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking today about something that is really tender, really honest, and is often hidden. And that is the mother wound. And if you listen to our cast at all, you know I have talked about this at least once before. But recently I had a fresh experience from a whole different angle that I thought it was really worth sharing. And I'm hoping that somebody that maybe is in the same place and has the same kind of concern going on can hear this and they'll feel comforted or they'll be changed by it and helped by it in some way. So, the thing about this particular mother wound is, as a woman, we realize we're looking in the mirror sometimes as we age and we see our mothers. I mean, how many of you out there listening have actually said that? God, I look like my mother. Look at this body. This body is like my mother's body. This sucks. I hate this. It's not just like the eyes or your smile or your posture or whatever. Um, it's uh, it's that feeling like you have turned into this person, and that's not a comfortable feeling. I mean, that actually did happen to me. The reason I bring that up is I was looking in the mirror and thinking, oh my God, this is what I remember my mom looking like. And thinking back then when I saw her that way, thinking so unhealthy. And how did you get here? Like all this judgment about who she is. But that's not what we're here to do today. We're not here to judge our mothers. We're really just here to reclaim what has been lost in that struggle with the relationship. In my case, I'm talking about my own mom. So if you're listening, this is personal. So this is something that I've been dealing with my pretty much my whole life. So
Yeah, and I think all of us have things we've been dealing with our mothers.
that
Even if we were very close to them, there was stuff.
that you would call like a mother wound.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'll tell you something I did when I was 6 years old or 7 years
okay.
old, maybe. My mother walked into the room as I was telling you that she is very Italian and
Can't
gesturing.
tell by those hands, Chris.
She was, when I say she was very Italian, she was
It
born
was
in
very
New
Italian. Yeah.
York. Her mother was born in New York. She wasn't from Italy, but she had the Italian genes.
Yeah.
And she would walk into a room. My perception as a child was that there would be chaos. There would be
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. You did that.
On the other hand, my aunt, her sister, was very different. She walked into the room and there was calm.
Mm.
And she took care of things. And Aunt Frances took care of business. She just got everything okay for everybody. And so at 6 or 7, I think I decided that I was going to be like Aunt Frances.
Not the
Made
drama queen.
that choice.
Of
And
course.
I even remember once when someone thought I was her daughter and I succeeded.
God, I hope your mom didn't see that.
Right. Well,
That's funny. Yes, I
so
remember.
yeah, so
Yes,
I think we all have, yeah, those
we
things.
do. I remember meeting your Aunt Frances. She was totally chill. She was, she
Was chill. Yeah, she was. Yes, that's right. You met her, and
was
she
not the
even, she
Italian
even
drama
came.
mom.
No, she didn't get it, and she even came to yoga for a while,
Yeah, that's funny.
before she passed. Yeah.
Yeah. So the mother wound isn't. I just want to be clear. This is not like a formal diagnosis. It's not a psychological term. It's really just like a fingerprint that kind of gets handed down from one generation to the next. It's like it can look like guilt when you succeed. It can look like shame when you don't. So there's a lot of ways that you can identify what that mother wound looks like inside of your own life. It sound like an inner voice that's doubting your own worth, and it can feel like this is how I felt the last few weeks, just exhaustion in your bones from carrying too much for too long or trying to run away from it for too long, you know? So some of us, have had mothers that were jealous of our opportunities, the mother-daughter relationship particularly. Others had mothers who, because of their own unresolved pain, were unconsciously wanting us to fail so they could feel secure. And I had both. I had my mother was like off the charts with this kind of stuff.
Mm.
But, I adapted by getting far away from her, and that was probably the smartest thing I could do because there's no way you can just fight that kind of craziness. But we carry these wounds with us, like I can run away from it, but it came with me, definitely. And what ends up happening is that you make yourself less vibrant and less visible because that enthusiasm for life has kind of been taken out of you. Um, some of us even begin to shape our bodies, like I was talking about at the beginning. We gain weight, we hold tension, we develop the same kind of
Mm.
illnesses that our mother had. And this is all under the guise of, staying loyal, staying safe, or wanting to be loved by that mother that never was able to give you that kind of thing. So just know up front, it's not your fault. This is not about blame. It's really about knowing the truth, because when you find out what that truth is, it is the doorway to getting free of
Mhm.
those emotions. So, and we're going to be talking about that a little more. And for anybody listening that is experiencing this right now, please stick around to the end. I'm going to do a really great exercise that will help you release some of this emotion. So, when we carry this mother wound that is unhealed, it really does cost us a lot. And in some cases, it costs us everything, our energy, our voice, our purpose. It can really affect a lot of things. You may notice that you're constantly second guessing yourself, or maybe you're one of these women that it's an overgiver just because you can, for no other reason. And then there's the pattern of being self-sabotaging. You can't explain why you stop yourself from doing things. You can't explain why you can't succeed in areas that are really important to you. You shrink away from your own power and being able to take that, like empower yourself and be able to get what you want. And finally, you get to a place where you get really angry. And as annoying as that is, it is a good place because this is when you can release it. This is what I was experiencing this last week, because I got really angry about, why is this still going on? I'm way too old for this kind of stuff. But the body remembers what the body remembers, and something triggered it. So you have to deal with it, because you really, when you're acting small, it's because your nervous system has been trained to associate being fully alive with being unsafe.
Mm.
It's kind of like I heard somebody say, I was taking a abundance seminar or something, and I heard somebody say that, um, when you feel unsafe with money, which a lot of people do if they grow up without it, because it means you didn't maybe have enough food, or you didn't have clothes, or you didn't have stuff you needed for school. All of that stuff makes you feel unsafe, and it's tied to not having money. So it's all kind of a weird, intricate, set of emotions and intellectual issues that you've got to sort through about what you experience in your environment as you're getting
Mm.
older. But here's the good part about it. Your soul remembers who you really are.
Yes,
That's the saving grace.
that is it. Yeah.
That's the saving grace. So how do we heal? Well, it's all about taking a look at the layers of how this wound has been taken on and how it's played out in your life. So I'm going to start with emotional healing. And Chris, if you have suggestions, just pipe in
Mm.
anytime.
We will.
I'm starting with the emotional part of it, because that I felt really angry, and that's not normal for me. I don't typically walk around being angry. So I literally went in and started looking at the inner child, because that's normally where I start when I feel like this is coming out of the blue. Like, where is this from? I guess this has been buried for a while, but I wasn't really sure where it was all coming from. So I sit and I have this little picture of myself when I was, I don't know, I think I was about 3 in this picture, 3 or 4. And I look at it and I talk to her like she's my little girl. She's my, inner child. And um, I tell her it's okay to be angry. I acknowledge what she's feeling. I say things like, I know this isn't fair. This isn't what you deserved as a little kid. Imagine giving her a big hug. And honestly, that's one of the things that feels the best because it was something I never got when
Mm,
I was a kid.
yeah.
So I hug her and I tell her it's going to be okay. Whatever she's feeling,
Mm,
it's going to be okay. So I recently did this in my imagination. I was telling her I love you, and um, just telling her how she deserves so much more than she got when she was a child, that kind of thing, just acknowledging her. And you'll be surprised how fast that will calm down the inner child. They just need to be seen and heard.
yeah,
And
it's like reparenting. You're reparenting yourself. You're
yeah,
giving yourself the parent that you needed, and it's pure.
yes. And sometimes when it's you and it's your inner child, it
Mm,
seems weirder to deal with. But think about this. I don't know a woman who, if they were looking at a little child that was 3 or 4 years old
mm,
and knew that that child was experiencing that pain, that they needed love, they needed a hug, they needed something they weren't going to get, that mama's heart would just be breaking,
mm,
just
mm.
like couldn't give it to him fast enough. That's what you want to do with your little child. Do your inner child, do the same thing. Give her everything that she needs. And that important part is tuning in and finding out what that is. What is it that she's looking for? What is she missing that I can, fill in this conversation? So I think at the same time I wrote a letter, and this is another really powerful technique. I journaled a letter and just spoke my truth to my mother, things that I haven't said probably before, things that I would never have said to her face, but things about how she failed me, what I needed, what I didn't get, all the anger I was feeling at the time, never got to express, blah blah blah. So I just wrote it all out, and not the first time I've done that with my
Good.
mother.
That's good though. Writing it down makes such a difference. It
And
really
then
makes everything tangible and it's a big release.
it does. That's the right word. It's kind of like the somatic part of it. You need to see it and feel it and acknowledge that it's real, and then just burn it up.
Mm.
Let it go.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of affirmed to myself, I no longer need to carry this for her to feel loved, and I am free. And just set myself free with that process. So that's the emotional healing that I went through dealing with this particular wound. And then there's the soma, there's somatic. This is your body. This is your body remembers everything. Um, you just want to encourage yourself, because Chris and I were talking about this before I got online, and that is I've been having back issues, and we're wondering if this is connected to what is going on with this emotional work that I've been doing with the mother wound. And I find that when I just do gentle movements, just breath work, stretching. Like this morning, did a bunch of postures, and
Mhm.
I was able to move and felt fine. But the minute I walk back into my own routine and try to do things, I can feel my body just like locking up again. So you want to be really, really gentle with your body through the healing process. Pay attention to it closely as you go through your day. What is it telling you? Like if you've got a pain, like I stop and okay, my back hurts. What is it trying to tell me? Get a sense if you can feel what that is. Right now I'm struggling because I can't figure out why my back pain's not going away. Maybe that's a saga for another conversation.
Mm.
But that's how you get in touch with the soma. You pay attention to it, give it your awareness, and wait for the answer. Ask for the question and wait for the answer. Because the body's often signaling to you what it needs, and it wants to be understood, and it's often expressing through stress or tired muscles,
Yeah.
or things that
Mm.
you don't want it to get too far, because the body can really, I mean, the body's taking me down more than once when I'm not paying attention to it. So you want to get good at making a habit of paying attention to it up front, so you catch this stuff early, you know so that's important, so you can heal faster. So, just create a habit where you're looking in the mirror. Whose body am I living in?
Mhm.
If you still can't separate yourself from that image, that feeling of your mother, you want to remain open to the healing process. And then, there will come the day when you can identify what's going on and you can leave it behind for good. So that's the soma part of it. Sometimes, people do work with a lot of somatic healers because this one can be a tricky one. Ego can be really tricky when it comes to the body and what it's processing. But the truth is, you can do it on your own if you really want to. You just gotta want to reclaim your body. Um,
And
you know,
there's a book, Your Body Believes Every Word You Say. And it responds to what you're saying, but it also believes every word you think.
yes, that's true.
And if you're thinking like, oh, I'm angry, or I feel bad about myself, or I feel this, your body is feeling that too.
It will. It's kind
And
of a chicken and the egg thing though, right? Because like which one's coming first and which one's the healing part, you got
yeah,
to go back and forth until you figure that part out.
yeah,
You want to get to your body back into a state of balance. That's the
yeah,
key.
right.
So
Right.
you treat it like a sanctuary. You want your body to be a place where you can be authentic.
Hmm.
And so if there's any, turbulence in that, you have to pay attention until you figure
Hmm.
out what it is. So that's the thing. You want that body to really be a reflection of who you are, I guess is a way of saying it. And then there's your spiritual, what I call spiritual sovereignty. I just happen to really love that word, spiritual sovereignty.
I
You
like
visualize,
that too, just the sound of
I,
it.
I know, isn't it great? You visualize your soul stepping out from the family story. Imagine a cord between you and, in this case, my mother.
Mhm.
And that cord is really a representation of the old expectations, the old habits, the old experiences that you've had together, the pain. Think of it and just let it dissolve. Not with anger, not with fear, not with anything but grace. Let it dissolve with grace. Just see the cord dissolving and being gone between the two of you. You're not attached anymore. You're free to rise and she's free to go. You know, free to be free. Just go, do your thing, mom. Whatever you're doing on the other side there, go for it. So, really it's about reclaiming your voice. Really, you can even like light a candle and say, I do not betray her by healing, I free us both. That's the whole idea, and it's not about separation, it's about sovereignty. And it's a sacred process, so you can do a whole sacred kind of ceremony around that letting go, that healing, that wanting to come back into
Mhm.
balance with yourself, with body, mind, and spirit. So there you go. So for those folks that are really going through this right now, I wanted you to experience the meditation script that I used this past week to literally walk myself through this thing that we were just talking about, healing this wound of the mother, letting go of all the expectations, the old beliefs, the old feelings, the old experiences. So, for whoever is listening out there, if you are driving, do not do anything, please. Just do this when you get home. But for those who can, and you want to either sit in a meditative posture, or even if you want to lie down, as long as you know you're not going to fall asleep, that's okay too. Just close your eyes and put your hand on your heart. Start by taking a big, deep breath in to the count of 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Do it again. Do it 2 more times. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. And one more time. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Now bring your attention to your body. Notice any places that feel tight or heavy or collapsed. If you can sense it, great. If not, you can just run your hand over your body and see if you feel the energy change at any place in your body. And with the awareness of any of those obstructions, I want you to gently place your hand on your heart, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. and whisper to yourself, I see you. I'm listening now. I see you. I'm listening to you now. Now imagine your mother standing in front of you. She is younger than you remember, maybe even a little girl. She looks at you, not with anger, but confusion. So just speak to her gently. Say, you don't have to live through me. Mom, you are free to rest, and I am free to rise. Now visualize that cord we talked about before, that energy that is connecting you. See that cord just gently dissolving, not with violence, but with grace. It dissolves between the two of you. You're both free. Now just feel your own body. Sense it growing taller, stronger, brighter, even softer. Let your breath widen your ribs in a beautiful sensation of breath coming in, calming the body, bringing the enthusiasm and the joy back into your being. Let your spine rise with ease, easily able to carry you gently, sweetly. Say to yourself now, I belong to myself. I am safe in my light.
I'm safe.
I choose life, not legacy. I belong to myself. I am safe in my light. I choose life. Just sit in this stillness. Let the silence hold you. Hold your heart, hold your mind, hold your body, hold space for your sacred soul. Let your body lead the way back to joy and peace. And when you're ready, just come out, return, bring your consciousness back.
Mm,
Just clutch your hands
that was beautiful.
and your feet and your
It
legs. Just tense everything up so you know you're back.
was freeing. Felt
Did
good.
you, you did that, right?
Yeah, I did it. Oh yeah, I was definitely in there.
It feels good, right?
It felt great.
Yeah.
It felt
Choosing the
great.
I particularly love the part about choosing the freedom. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to struggle with this anymore.
Mhm.
You know, I'm done. I'm done. Please, please be done. You know, like sometimes the body has its own path and its own process that it has to go through to heal. You know, and I want to stay open to that. And of course, take care of that. But holy moly, I'm ready to just be at peace again. Just
This is
I
great,
belong.
folks. You should, I mean, do this, and if you're driving, do it when you get home because it's a,
Exactly. It's powerful. I
it's
belong to
awesome.
myself. I am safe in the light, and I choose life. I choose freedom. I choose me.
Mhm.
It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I hope that
beautiful.
heals somebody. So really healing the mother wound. I just want to say, and as a last idea, is it's not so much an act of rebellion. I mentioned I felt angry. Well, that's just what I held on to. You know, that's just how my body experienced whatever was going on at the time that I didn't get my needs met, and that's how I'm remembering it. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's not the way through to the healing process, though. You really want it to be a sacred act, like going through that meditation that we just did. You can feel the transition back into how it's restoring you, right? It's bringing you back to peace. It's bringing
Mhm.
you back to love. It's bringing you back to the light. That's what you want. You want to let go of the other stuff. You get to choose a whole new legacy now. You know, you can stop carrying around the pain, all the ancestral pain that she
Mhm.
passed through to you.
You don't need
And
it.
yeah, that you do not want to pass on to the next generation, right? You want
Mhm.
to leave that behind. You want to be in what yogis are always saying, living in that state of harmony of body, mind, and spirit, because that's what we want to pass along. We want to, our legacy, we want it to be of being able to be present in love, in light, in joy, in peace, and all of those wonderful things that we can pass along to our children and grandchildren, little
Yeah.
baby grandchildren that Chris has.
Mhm.
So, okay, so if this episode spoke to you, please go to YouTube and subscribe our channel, like it and share it, so, hopefully another woman that wasn't here today and hasn't heard this can be released from carrying around pain that's
Yes.
absolutely not necessary, right? So do that for us. That would be amazing. And until we talk to you again next week, I hope that you can really walk in compassion and speak the truth and live with the full permission to be who you truly, truly are.
Who
Okay.
you really are.
Thanks for listening. Come back again.
See you
See you next
soon.
week.